Hello and welcome. This is Anadhufu program. Anadhufu, like I always say, is typical Oromo word to mean a warm welcome with wide arms, and it doesn't mean simply welcome. My guest today is artist Kemar Yusuf. He's going to tell us about his childhood and about Oromo art development, as well as the activities now he's carrying out in Oromia and many other things we're going to talk about. Stay tuned. I'm your host, Anadhufu Kemar.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me in this beautiful studio, OBN. Like I said, if anything you want to ask, and I'm ready to respond as much as I can.
Where were you born and grew up?
I was born in Eastern Oromia, the place called Dadar, actually, near Dadar. I grew up there. I did my elementary in a city called Soka, and then my secondary school in Dadar High School.
Okay.
Before I completed, and then the problem started, the whole country was in trouble because of Red Terror, and also most of our friends, young students, has been taken by force to Asmara to fight. The fight that they have no idea about it. And I'm sure, I don't know if you remember, you're too young to remember probably. And that's how we escaped. And that's a long story though, I just want to make it shorter.
Where did you escape to?
We escaped to Jijiga. Through Jijiga we went to Alaibade, to Hargeisa. We went through a lot of disaster, problems, trouble. If I may say, we've been jailed, we've been tortured, even under the ground for a certain time. And then we get to United Nations. Somehow United Nations found us.
That in Somalia or in Kenya?
In Somalia.
All right.
Then we stayed at a refugee camp called Bihidanka with over 40,000 Oromos. And yeah. So still, when I remember, it seems to me it's just like yesterday.
For how many years did you stay there?
Fortunately, I didn't stay that long because I get a good chance to move from there to different area. I stayed there about, I think, 2 years, I believe. Yeah.
And never been to Kenya?
No, Kenya.
But there are some words in your song. We'll talk about it in Swahili. We'll talk about it later. Who's your model, by the way, among Oromo artists?
I've been saying this all the time, but we see like when I start singing, this is what people don't understand. I never planned or thought to become a singer. I think it's not only me. Most of Oromo singers, they start their singing connected to their lifestyle, where they come from, the oppression, the oppressed, and whatever is going on into our society. And we lost everything we have, dignity, culture, language. When you grow up, you discover this, especially when you're a student. You start to read and write. You start to ask yourself who you are, and then where you are. And then if this is really your country, this country never been like my country. A lot of people say, like some people, I even heard, non-Oromos, that the Oromos hate Ethiopia. We never hate Ethiopia. We think Ethiopia hate us. We couldn't find ourselves in Ethiopia. We feel like second citizen. When I grow up, even I remember when I used to go to high school, grade 9, we faced a lot of things. So most of us, we just, what you see outside, what sits inside us, that's what we sing. That's how we start singing. And kind of blaming our family, blaming ourselves, blaming our oppressors, and that's how it started. So eventually, some of us, we stay a singer, and some of us, we go different direction. So most of Oromo artists, they start.
That oppression created many artists.
One way or the other, from the pain that they live with. That's how they start. That's the only thing. Because you may have to remember, orally this culture get here. And most probably, you know, I don't know, there's no written thing that we read about Oromo. Or all we herited is orally through what we call Gerera, Recha, Darasi, Dadasi, singing. That's how we herited what Oromo is. That's how we know. There's no book that we read and say, I come from these people, their culture looks like this, they live like this, they eat like this, all those type of things. So our main thing at that time is just a verbal thing. We don't even get a chance to make a movie or a drama
of your own.
Our own. So the only thing we own is our voice. So we speak loud, we scream, so that turned into a singing. So that's how I become a singer. I bet you so many other Oromo artists are become that way. They become a singer that way.
I heard that your father didn't like your becoming an artist. Is that true?
My dad always, okay, when I start singing, I already in refugee camp. They didn't know I'm singing. I get one old guitar from one priest, British man, he's a priest. He gave me in B.A. Danka. I started there to play.
A box guitar?
Box guitar to start to play. And then when we get to Italy, we start to establish even more, and we meet a lot of people. We start to learn Italian language and also some electronics and also English language. So I start to improve my guitar and singing. I used to sing for Italians too. I sing Italian language. When I start to speak Italian language, I start to sing Italian language.
Come stare bene, sì, and so forth. By the way, how many albums do you have?
I have about, I guess about 6.
6 albums?
Yeah, about 6 albums, including cassettes. Before, we don't even have strengths or ability to finance, to produce CDs, so that's a long time ago, 24 years ago, 25 years ago, we produced just a cassette, the rolling cassette. You don't even find it in the market these days, so that's how old it is. Yeah, what was I saying? And yeah, I started that way. The question was about my father. And then when I get to Canada,
How did you get to Canada? That's what my question to be asked next then.
My United Nations took us from Italy. And from Italy, we get a chance to go to Canada. When we get to Canada, we're free, and it was a free country. You can freedom of speech, freedom of expressing whatever you want, owning things and who you are and yourself, and then whatever we bury for a long, long time, we have to bring it up and scream if we want to. And then I start to sing. My first cassette is on 1991. It's always about anger, that cassette. I still remember I was young, and I went back to school, George Brown College. I went up to grade 12. Then I went to college to DeVry.
And I studied what?
Electronic technology.
Okay.
And then after electronic technology, and then I went to law school, what they call paralegal. A paralegal is not a lawyer, but it's like a nurse. So that's what I did. I didn't finish my school, so I get involved with the music in most cases, and people start to like what I sing. I start to get audience, fans, not only Oromo or Ethiopians. I start to gain popularity among white people.
And your first song, do you remember that?
Yes.
May our audience hear that with your voice?
I used to sing a song that very connected to our life. It's 100 years old. That song has been sung around mostly Char areas, Galamso areas, I said, but it's very, very old. It describes Oromo the way I feel it to me. That's
Is it Shagoya rhythm?
Robake sakanamte oiru warma haramte tabaronte garayutu bakayutu gakabamte Oromo waqamdi dakabamte Oromo waqamdi dakabamte Ijoollee warra waan qabne warra waaqa buyyaati ka qabus nama laatu kan qabne hin hidhaatu cunqursaa isaa doobarte akka taatu cunqursaa isaa doobarte akka taatu aduun dhiite galgala loon galee mistijaab aduun dhiite hin deebine waa xinnoo mila sama namni aadaa of hin qabne wayi nama namni aadaa of hin qabne wayi nama walleessaa hirriraadha raabsaa herri diboota walliseeraa danfuune herri keenya diboota kaabdii irra qabnus dargaggoota kaabdii irra qabnus dubartoota.
What a content. What
when we say that, it feels good. It shows us a future, that we have a future. There's always hope. There's always a dream. Without dream, we're nobody.
That's the
Without
power of
hope,
art.
we're nobody. So, having said that, all this happening today, it's just a miracle. Sometimes
That
I
Rabbi
laugh,
Hamdi,
sometimes I
Rabbi
cry.
Hamdi, it means Alhamdulillah, thanks to Waqaf, thanks to God, it means.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And you thank it to Waqaf for, he brought these people to the right way.
Absolutely.
And you also thank your youth, the Keros, in that context.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
women as well included. And I'm amazed with that song. By the way, Kemar is a designer of his own clothes. Is it true? People say that.
Yes, I design my clothes. I even also give people idea, not only for me. A lot of people like my idea. Back in Canada, in Toronto, where I stay, I do work with native Indians, Aboriginals. I do work with them. And for some reason, honestly speaking, the culture of Red Indians in the culture, you may call me crazy, but the culture of Red Indians in the some area culture of Oromo, and even tradition, and I'm from countryside, I come from a farmer family, there is a similarity. Don't ask me how 7,000 miles these people get together.